Live from Hollywood, California, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funnies, Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And what's going on, everybody? I want to welcome everybody to VJ's Unsportsmanlike Conduct. As always, I am your host, VJ Vernon Husky, a.k.a. the Big Vanilla Funny, a.k.a. the Big Vanilla Shaq, a.k.a. VJ Wright. That's because he always think he is. Mr. 8515, Mr. Never Shut Up. The Big Vanilla color card, because I got a deck of them. Like, I got a deck of them right here. Where they at? Look at that. I got 2 decks of them. I got 2 decks of color cards, because sometimes you gotta, you know, in spades when you hit it with the, when you flip it on it with the, and you smack the card on the table. I'm the Big Vanilla color card, man, because sometimes you gotta deal them out to people, man. And I am your Vegas color card dealer. Great quick show for you guys today. Not gonna be on long, but I wanted to get on. I got a special guest coming on from Spectrum Sports, which is the local network out here in Los Angeles, cover all the LA teams, the Dodgers, the Lakers. We'll get some Laker talk in. We'll talk about Magic Johnson. We'll talk about the state of free agency coming up. Golden State Warriors goes to 5 straight NBA Finals. Most people think they're going to win. Eastern Conference Finals is tied at 2 right now. Game 5 is tonight in Milwaukee between Toronto and the Milwaukee Bucks. I picked Toronto in 7 last week when I had Mr. Tom Perkins on, NBA aficionado, scout, and one of the head trainers for the pre-draft combine for the players coming out. So, great stuff for you today. I'll bring my guest in about 5 minutes, but I just want to start really quick by I'm the type of person that I'm very, very, very hard on my opinions. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say what I say. I'm not changing it. A lot of it's not going to go away. If you don't like it, then, you know, you're going to have to figure out something else, because I normally, I'm going to stick to what I say. I'm going to stick to my guns unless I find new information. I'm open to change if you provide me new information. And I did a list last week. Well, the conversation that I had started back in December on another show that I was on a pilot show that we were trying to start out of Hollywood, about the best point guards of all time. And then, of course, Magic Johnson's name had came up. It's Magic Johnson, number 1, hands down, no debate. And I'm fine with Magic being number 1. I mentioned I didn't like the hands down, no debate part, because I think where there's a question, there can always be a debate. There could always, there's no debate, then everybody shut down your social media, all the sports networks close down, go out of business, and, you know, we're never going to talk sports again. But we know that's not going to happen, so there is a debate to be had. And I came up with a list. I had guys like Nash. I got the list right in front of me. I had Magic in number 1. That's Stockton, AI, Big O, Steph, Isaiah, Nash, Kuzi, and J. Kidd. To me, those are the top 10 point guards to ever play the sport of basketball, college or pro, and the NBA. Pistol Pete could be in there also, too. But recently watching Steph Curry, I have now elevated Steph Curry up in my top 10. I believe Steph Curry right now could be considered the 2nd or 3rd best point guard of all time. I'm going to hover him around 3 or 4 still. And that's because I do have respect for John Stockton, all-time leader in assists, all-time leader in steals. Stockton shot 51% from the field. He was 82% free throw shooting. He was a 39% three-point shooter. So he was a decent three-point shooter. You want to beat a 40, but 38.2, somewhere in that area. 83 is a free throw. And he shot 50% from the field. He's an all-time leader in steals, all-time leader in assists. That's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. But when I look at Steph, and I look at what Steph has done, and the All-NBA teams came out today. If I can get my computer screen back up here real quick. The All-NBA teams came out today. And, of course, there's a lot of noise. There's always going to be noise. You have the first team, second team, and third team. The defensive teams came out yesterday. But I'm also willing to label Steph Curry the most disrespected and underappreciated megastar of all time in the NBA. Maybe in sports, period. Like megastar. Like Steph Curry is a megastar. Whether you want to admit it or not, he's a megastar. Maybe because he ties his Timbs up all the way. Yeah, maybe because he has an Under Armour shoe deal. Maybe because he's not about the me, and the arrogantness that we see with a lot of players and today's social media athlete. I get it. I really do. But you can't knock his skill set. You can't knock what he's done. You can't knock what probably is about to happen, which we all think ring number 4 is coming for him. That'll be more than LeBron. That'll be one off of Kobe. That'll be one off of Magic. That'll be one off of Duncan. That'll be more than Wade. More than Isaiah. AI didn't have any, and I'm just looking at the list. Big O has 1. Nash has 0. Kuzi's got a bunch of them. I believe 6 or 7 for the Kuzmeister. And then Jason Kidd has 1. So as a point guard, he would have 4 championships. He's a 25-5 guy. We've never seen a shooter. He has revolutionized the game. Steph Curry has changed the game. He's changed the way the NBA is played. He's changed the way the NBA is coached. He's changed the way kids shoot. Go to the local YMCA. Go to the local gym. Look at Trey. Look what we have. Look what we have with Trey Young. He is changed the game. Like, he's completely rewritten the rules of shooting. I'm a Kobe guy. Kobe would get killed for taking 30-foot threes, 27-foot threes, 28-foot threes. And I get it because he wasn't the best three-point shooter. But Kobe was also the best tough shot maker I ever saw. I don't know if he was the most clutch, but I know nobody took tougher shots and hit more tougher shots than Kobe Bryant. But Steph has made it okay to shoot a 30-foot three. He's made it okay to shoot a 27-foot three. He's made it okay to kind of be a little more showy with your dribble, even though he turns the ball over. That's one thing that I wish Steph would clean up is the turnovers. But at the end of the day, he could be considered the second or the third best point guard of all time. He's 25-5-5, i.e. Kobe Bryant. Kobe's 25-5-5. Steph Curry's 48% from the field career-wise. That's as a point guard that shoots a high volume amount of threes. He's also 45% from the three-point land. He's 93% career from the free throw line. It's insane what we're seeing with Steph Curry, and for whatever reason, people don't like him. That's not what this opening rant is about. It's not about why people don't like Steph Curry. Steph Curry's a good family man. Curry's a good husband. You never hear his name in the press. You know, like you guys all did for you know who. For you know who. We started to go to the lifestyle now. He's a good father. He's a good this. He's a good dad. He's never even been in trouble before. Like, damn, aren't you supposed to be a good husband? Aren't you supposed to be a good father? Aren't you not supposed to get in freaking trouble? Like, this is nothing new. These are things that you should be doing already anyway, right? But this is how we want to cheer and root for basketball players now. We have to go to the personal side. So when I look at Steph Curry, I look at he's a one-time scoring champ. And I think it was 2015, 2016, led the league in scoring. Same season, led the league in steals. Led the league in scoring, led the league in steals. 2-time MVP, 5-time All-NBA. Now, today, he's a 6-time All-NBA player. He's on the first team with Yanis and to the Kupo. Did I say that right? I'm trying. I don't want to just call him Yanis. I'm really trying to get this guy's name. And to Kupo. Did I get it? Did I do it right? I didn't do it right? I messed it up? Okay, anyway. James Harden, the Joker, Nikola Jokic, and Paul George. PG is first team All-NBA today on the first team. Second team, Durant, Embiid, Kyrie, Kawhi, and Dame time. And then the third team was Blake Griffin, Kemba Walker, Russ Westbrook. And I'm not sure how Russ is third team when he averaged a triple-double. I don't know if he can make first team because I know you got Harden, you got Steph Curry. But then, I mean, even on second team, I thought he had better seasons than Kyrie Irving did. I thought he had a better year than Kyrie Irving did. Kyrie Irving made second team, but you know, I'm not even sure how these things all get voided out and whether feelings are into it. But LeBron James on the third team, Blake Griffin, Rudy Gobert, Kemba Walker, and Russell Westbrook. But now, not only did he make first team and Kevin Durant didn't, speaking back to Curry, now we have to add 6-time All-NBA first or second team. He's going to be a 4-time champion. He's the best shooter that we've ever seen. And like I said, I get it. As humans, we don't like everything. We're not going to like everything. Everybody's not going to like everything. So I understand why people didn't like Kobe. I understand why people didn't like Isaiah. I understand why people don't like Steph Curry. I get it. I understand why people don't like LeBron. Like, I get it. I'm a non-LeBron fan. I understand why people don't like certain people. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to be okay in life. You cannot like every damn thing. You don't have to like everything everybody else likes. But when you look at his game and you look at what he does and you look at the simple fact that, listen, I'm going to just come out and say it. maybe Durant going there wasn't the best thing for him. And this year, when you look at his numbers, he averaged 25, 26 points. If Durant was at 28, I believe. He was at 25, 26. And people were talking like Steph had a down year. Well, he didn't play well in the first round of the playoffs this year. In the first round, Steph averaged 27, 7, and 8. Like, what are you watching? Are you watching? And maybe because Durant gets so much attention and Durant answers back to the press and Durant goes back and forth with Chris Broussard and Durant likes to look at the press and say, y'all know who I am. Like, y'all know. He went on a scoring tear. He went on a tear to let people know, hey, let's not forget who the hell I am. I'm Kevin Durant. And I think Curry's the type of guy and type of superstar to say, okay, that's okay. That's okay. Kevin Durant, he wants to be the man. He could be the man, my friend. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to get all the championships, my friend. They're just not going to get a ring to Kevin Durant. Stephen Curry is going to get a ring too, okay? And now I have a son. I'm Stephen Curry. I have a son now. I had the 2 daughters. Now I got a son. We're going to keep this Curry shooting thing going. You see my brother, right? You see my brother, right? My brother, he can shoot it too, you know. So that's okay. That's okay. Kevin Durant wants all the attention. Kevin Durant got the attention. I'm still going to get a ring too, my friend, okay? And I think Steph's that guy. Was like, listen, I'm cool. Be the star. Be the front runner. I'm still going to drop 26 a night. I'm still going to drop 27 a night. I'm still going to hit threes. I'm still the best ball handler on the team. I'm still the best probably passer, maybe other than Draymond, on the team. I'm still the best free throw shooter on the team. It's still my team. I've said this before. This is nothing new. It's still Steph Curry's team. He was smart enough to just kind of step to the side for Durant. He was just smart enough to step to the side for Durant. Like, okay, go ahead, bro. Like, just try to take the attention off of me, man. I'm cool. If anything, the only time that we hear anything major about him is when Aisha says something. Like, we weren't even talking about Steph Curry. And Aisha went on the red table with Jada Pinkett and Jada Pinkett's daughter and Jada Pinkett's mother and I guess the sister-in-law, the sister, whoever the other young lady, Black Queen was on there. And that started like a whole thing. No, we weren't even talking about Steph. Steph Curry is now, and definitely in about 2 weeks, because it does not matter who they play. All you Milwaukee people out here, how many times have we seen this in the NBA? This young upstart team with this young, highly talented superstar is going to take out the giant. How many times have we seen this? We've seen this before. At the end of Goodfellas, Harry still snitches on Jimmy Conway and Paulie. He still tells on them. It doesn't change. Sammy the Bull still sits on a stand at the end of Gotti, and he still points the finger, and he rats out John Gotti. The story doesn't change. They still kill the man at the end of To Kill a Mockingbird. The story doesn't change. Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, they still save the world at the end of Independence Day. The movie doesn't change. We've seen this before, and that's nothing to say about Yanis. But when you are playing a different opponent night to night, and you can get away with the same, just put your head down, take 2 big steps, or go to the spin move. And I'm not going to go to the level of, and this is what I'm hearing in sports talk circles, that Yanis is being exposed. I'm not going to go there. But it is showing Ben Simmons isn't the only superstar who needs a jump shot over the summertime. He ain't the only guy. There's another superstar that needs a jump shot too. Because Giannis does not have one. Everything is put the ball on the floor, drive, take the big long, Euro steps, get the long dunk, got the long arms, get the dunk, the spin move, get the layup or the spin move and get the dunk. That's kind of his game. He doesn't have a major low post presence. He doesn't have a three. He doesn't have a mid game. He doesn't have a fall away. He doesn't have a fadeaway. He doesn't have a pull up J in the paint. He doesn't have a pull up mid range. He doesn't really have any of that. But we've seen this before, guys. The Warriors are special. And they're led by Steph Curry. And they're going to demolish whoever they play. It doesn't matter who they play. They're going to demolish who they play. And I tell you this, and I'm going to end the rant on this because I do want to get my guy in here. He's only got about 40 minutes before he's got to make a run, at 2 o'clock. I am kind of selfishly hoping that Kevin Durant does not come back for the playoffs. I hope the calf injury keeps him out of the playoffs, out of the finals. I would love to see Golden State just win it without him. Number one, it shuts up all the people that say, oh, they needed to go get Kevin Durant. They had to run to go get Kevin Durant. All you LeBron fans, they had to run to go get Kevin Durant. They can't win without Kevin Durant. Oh, the one they won, Kyrie and Love were hurt. Okay, fine. But this whole thing, they needed Kevin Love. I would like, for one, me personally, I would like to hear all of that shut down. Because it's taking the credit away from guys like Draymond, guys like Clay, guys like Iggy, guys, and the main cog on the team who I've been saying since day one when they got Durant. And I put it out on any post. I put it out on different, a lot of different shows. That is Steph Curry's team. And Steph Curry could be the second or third best point guard that we've ever seen in NBA history. He's definitely the best shooter. And I don't think a guy has ever changed the game. In my recent memory, he is completely revolutionary. He's revolutionized the game. He's changed it single-handedly. I mean, Tom Brady's great. He doesn't change football. Tiger Woods is great. He didn't change. Tiger Woods so great. Not only did he didn't change the game tried to change. They started changing courses. They started changing courses. If anything, it reeled the game back. They were like, no, he's just driving too good on these straight fairways. We gotta help out the other guys. That's how he changed the game. Steph has changed the game now to where he's almost taken the center out of the league by himself. He's almost taken the center position out of the league all by himself. Because now everybody wants to shoot the three, and now that he's shooting from 30 feet, you got everybody that wants to be out there now. There's no back to the basket. Just come up. Let's run high pick and roll. Let's run pick and roll out on the three-point wings on the left or the right at the top of the key. And let's make something happen with the point. He's still the best ball handler on that squad. 33, 36, 37, 36, 36 since Durant's been out. With a triple-double to finish off in sweet Portland. Portland? No, they're not ready. They're not ready. Dame's not that guy. Dame's good. Dame's a really good player. He's not a great player. He's a really, 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 really good player. Great players to me win championships. Great players to me win championship. Barkley was a great player, but you can say that after his playing days. When he was playing and win a championship, there was a lot of people saying Barkley was like a top-notch player. Drexler was a top-notch player. Ewing was a top-notch player. You had to win championships. And he's a really, really, Dame's a really, but he is a liability on defense. His assist numbers aren't never really up there, really big. He doesn't really fit a lot. He's a scoring guard. Doesn't get a lot of triple doubles, doesn't get on the glass a lot. Just go look at his numbers. But they just weren't ready. We've seen this before. We've seen young upstart teams try. Toronto's got a better shot at Golden State than Milwaukee does. Toronto's got a guy that's got a finals MVP and led his team to a championship in San Antonio. In 5. They beat that LeBron squad in 5. They beat that Heat team in 5. So they've got a guy. Yanis, answer to the Kupo. Ha! Got it. Got it. I think I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. Somebody will let me know. But they got a guy. Toronto's got a better chance, in my opinion, than Toronto's got a better chance than Milwaukee does, in my opinion. So, also first team. I'm not sure about Paul George. I'm not going to get too much into it right now. Paul George, All NBA first team. I'm looking at Kawhi on the second. I'm looking at maybe Joel, and I'm not a Joel guy, but I'm looking at Joel on the second team. Even KD on the second team. But all I care about today is the Steph's on the first team. Steph is now a 6-time All-NBA. This is about to be a 4-time champion. Y'all stop playing my fellow vanilla, bruh. Y'all I'm telling y'all, I know why he get a lot of hate. I do. He's a vanilla, bruh. The vanilla bros, we just get that. We just get. I don't know. I don't know what it is. We just get that though. Clay don't get that love like he should. Steph don't get that love like he should. Clay's one of the best ball defenders I've seen in the last 15 years. Easy. He's one of the best shooters and ball defenders I've seen in the last 15 years. Now, he is a spot-up shooter. I tell people all the time, if he went to a team he had to do it himself, he'd be Harrison Barnes. We see how that's working out in Dallas. But Harrison also choked. Draymond getting suspended really helped lose that championship against Cleveland. But Harrison playing as bad as he did, that also contributed to it. So, we'll move on from that, but Steph Curry is the man. Y'all stop hating on my man Curry. All NBA first team. He's changed the game. 25-5-5. He's about to have 4 championships, and they could go for a 5th if Durant doesn't leave next year. We don't know what's happening with free agency, so everybody thinks they know, but they never do. I'm actually going to take a quick break. We'll get Jason Headley in here for the Rockin' Wrap-Up. I like Jason Hadley. Jason Hadley is a stand-up comedian out here, and he does this Rockin' Wrap-Up, and I think it's always very well done. So let me make sure that we get today's loaded up, and then we'll take a quick break. We'll get Jason Headley's Rockin' Wrap-Up in here, and then I'll get my special guest, Louis Estrada, in today. Louis Estrada will come in and do his thing with us. VJ's on Sports Like Conduct, Spreaker.com.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Actress Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend, Brian Hickerson's in serious hot water after a domestic incident between the couple turned physical, which could have him facing up to 4 years in prison. Clearly forgetting her ex-husband and father to their child is two-time world heavyweight boxing champion Vladimir Klitschko. Lawyers for Hickerson are advising him to ask the judge for 8. The father of singer Britney Spears was allowed to expand coverage of the conservatorship of his pop star daughter to include states such as Florida, Louisiana, and Hawaii. Getting conservatorship over someone in one state's hard enough, but to get 3, I see he had a Groupon. Mama June Shannon was confronted by her family over the crack cocaine addiction she's developed since getting her own spin-off reality show centered around her massive weight loss. The hardest part is keeping the weight off. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
My man Jason Headley with the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. I love that guy, man. That's funny stuff right there. He just takes Hollywood stories, flips it, and just makes it funny, man. So that's kind of like my first minor sponsor, Jason Hadley with the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Right now, I got my guest online right now. I want to bring him in. Gentlemen, I've been doing Sports Talk with for about 4 years now. We actually met through the internet. He's been out to support my comedy shows. We played in the Sports Talk celebrity broadcast softball game together, where he actually had an end of park home run. If I'm not mistaken, he hit a home run that day, and he went like 3 for 5. I went 3 for 4. I popped one up. But I think I had 2 doubles. I had like 4 or 5 RBIs. I was out there like Ken Griffey Jr. But he is also the CEO of Luis Estrada Sports House, and he has a radio show over on Blog Talk Radio, and he also has another podcast, a wrestling podcast that he does over there from Spectrum Sports, one of my good friends, and as I always like to introduce him as my favorite Mexican in Southern California, my man Luis Estrada. What's going on, partner?
Dude, what is going on, brother? It's been way too damn long, brother. I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain at all, man. Just sitting here, running my mouth and doing what we love to do best, partner. That's all. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's the fun of it, man, when we can go and do what we do, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get right into it, man. I want to talk a little Steph Curry. You and I have had discussions on NBA, I mean, many a times. And you've seen the disrespect of I've seen it too. The way Steph Curry is looked at, the way Steph Curry is judged, the way Steph Curry is underappreciated, in my opinion. First team All-NBA comes out today. Who's on it? Steph Curry. Who goes for 30-plus points, 35-plus points in five straight games since Durant gets hurt with the triple-double, Steph Curry. Who goes right back to the guy that we all knew he was, but for some reason, and I have a theory of why he gets disrespected, but I'll save that for a little later in our conversation. But at the end of the day, I did a show last week on point guards, top point guards, and I had them at about 6 or 7. And I tell you, I wake up this morning and I jolt them up to number 3, man. They're going to win. They're going to win the finals again this year. That gives them 4 rings, 6-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Star. He's been a scoring champ. He's been a steals champ. He just steadies that team, and I don't even want to go with they don't need Kevin Durant. I honestly hope Kevin Durant doesn't come back because I want Steph to win without Durant, and I want Steph to get his finals MVP that he should have had already. Your thoughts on the disrespect to Steph Curry and just where we are today when we look at the game and how we overlook. We're so quick to call Yanis the best player, LeBron the best player, KD the best player. Like, let's be real. Nobody called KD the best player until he went to Golden State. And that's because there's a guy named Steph that was willing to just step back and say, bro, here, you want to be the star? You want to have, here, fine. I get a ring too. They don't just give it to one player, and I'm still going to do what I do too. 31-1 without Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Your thoughts on Steph Curry, Luis?
Steph Curry, you said a few minutes ago, I don't know if I go as far as to say he's the most underrated player ever in sports, but he's one of the most underrated players in sports. And that's hard to say when you're a guy who undoubtedly, in my mind, is going to go in the Hall of Fame one day. You talk about point guards. You talk about the evolution of the point guard position. It started with Magic Johnson back in, the early 80s when you had, for the first time, you had this big 6'9" point guard who could handle the rock, who could distribute, who could post up and do a lot of different things. And then that was kind of, everyone was looking for the next Magic. You had guys that were, a little bit shorter. You had, your Isaiah Thomases. You had, your Kevin Johnsons they were good point guards, but they weren't Magic. They didn't take that next step. No disrespect to those guys, because Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer, Kevin Johnson, I wouldn't say great, a very, very good point guard for the Phoenix Suns in his time, and there were others as well. But then you had a guy you mentioned before, and we've talked about before, who a lot of people maybe didn't appreciate as much while he was playing, and now you kind of miss him that he's not playing, and that's Allen Iverson. He kind of took that next step and said, okay, I'm going to distribute the ball a little bit less, but I'm going to score more. I'm going to drive to the hoop more. I'm going to play a little bit more defense. And he kind of took that next elevation on that next group. You don't see Russell Westbrooks. You don't see your John Walls without Allen Iverson. And then you had the next guy come in the middle of it all, and that's Steph Curry, a guy who he distributes the ball. He can play some defense, but now you got a point guard who can shoot the ball. And this is kind of the new thing now. Can you shoot? He hasn't just changed the point guard position. He's changed the NBA, like you said, because now you need shooters. Everywhere you go, you need shooters. Now all of a sudden you've got centers trying to shoot the basketball. You've got, power forwards trying to shoot the basketball from deep. When was the last time you saw a guy like Shaq try to shoot a three-pointer? Whenever Shaq tried to do that, you were like, are you serious? Come on, he's not really going to shoot that. Think about the big men. When we were growing up, VJ, that would shoot the threes. You had Manute Bol. You had Jack Sikma, was considered a pretty decent shooter as a center. And then you started to see some power forwards kind of go in there. The Channing Frys, the Robert Ory's. You started to see that elevation. But now there are no more back-to-the-basket guys. Think about a guy like Joel Embiid. As good as he is, if he would focus on his low post game, how dominant would that guy be?
Absolutely. He shoots way too many damn jumpers. But that's the game. That's the Curry effect.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
That's the Curry effect, man. This first team, I don't have a problem with it, but I see PG on it, and I know he had a great year, but then I look at the second team and I'm like, well, there's Kawhi, there's Embiid, and there's Durant. Is PG? Did he seem to be a first team All NBA player to you this year?
If you were to take out the last 3 weeks of the season, absolutely he would have been, because up until that point, he was still in the MVP conversation. I know he's a finalist for the MVP, but he was having a really solid year. Then you had the last month of the season where the whole team just, OKC really took a dive, was barely hanging on for that playoff spot. You could have, for my taste, you could have swapped Paul George and Kevin Durant or even Kawhi. I think those three would have been interchangeable. I don't necessarily have a problem with it because I don't think I think that the problem with KD is this, is you get into that rut of he's done it before. And I think that's what's happened with a guy like Russell Westbrook as well. Because you've seen them do things at these levels so often and so consistently over the last 4 or 5 years that it's expected now. You expect Russell Westbrook to have average a triple-double now. I think he's done it the last 3 years.
3 years in a row.
Something that hadn't been done since the 60s, if I remember right. And he's done it for 3 years in a row. And he's on the third team? Are you serious? To me, if you're looking statistically, the way we look at stats nowadays, something like that should automatically put him up on the first team, if going analytically and statistically the way that people do nowadays. But he's on the third team. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people expect that from you. I'm actually more surprised Kawhi's not on that first team than I am Durant. Because of that, because nobody knew what you were going to get from Kawhi coming off of his injury last year, going to not just a new team, but a new conference, new coaching staff for the first time. You didn't really know what to expect from Kawhi, so I'm a little more surprised that Kawhi's not on the first team than I am Durant. But I think in the case of a guy like Durant and even Westbrook, the reason why they are where they are is because we've seen them do it so many times over the last 5-6 years. That's become expected, and it's like if they don't do it, you're kind of like, okay, he had a down year.
When I look at unanimous, Yanis was unanimous first team, Harden's unanimous first team. When I look at, if I'm just looking at the top 2 teams, there are only 4 players of the 10 that are even still in the playoffs, and 2 of them play on the same team. You got Steph and Durant, and you got Yanis and you got Kawhi. Harden first team, Giannis first team. First, let's start with Giannis. If I've never talked him up as high as everybody else has, because when I watch him play, all I see a lot of times is highlight plays. Just the plays I know they're going to show on SportsCenter, the highlights they're going to show on SportsCenter. And I kind of got out of really looking at that and thinking, oh, this guy's gonna be a beast. This guy's gonna be a beast. That's why I don't believe in Zion. I'm actually going out on a limb and saying the best Duke player is gonna be Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, to me, when I watch him play, he reminds me of Tracy McGrady. R.J. Barrett can't go right, and R.J. Barrett don't want to pass the ball.
Right.
But I think Cam Reddish is gonna be the guy off of that team. So, but with Giannis, I try not to look at the highlight, and like I said, that's what I think we show, and most people look at when we look at Zion, and I hear people using the exposed label, and I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna say he's exposed, but how does a guy like that just pass over like a Curry, or just pass over a Durant, where people are like, oh no, he's up. This is the next best player coming. It's like, dude, he's got 2 moves. He's either driving or he's spinning. He's not doing anything else. He has no mid-range. He's got no in-the-post jumper. He's got no back-to-the-basket game, and he's got a half-ass three-pointer. So how is it? Are we just really becoming a victim of the highlight? And in the NBA regular season, you play a different guy every night. When you get to the playoffs, man, and you're playing the same team 5, 6, maybe 7 times over the span of a week and a half to 2 weeks, they know your moves. They know what you're going to do, and exposes when you can't go to your go-to move and you really don't have a second move to go to. I think that's why people are using the term expose. Just your thoughts on Giannis and the way we've seen Kawhi really lock him up when he D's him up one-on-one.
Well, I'll tell you what, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of it has to do with in the playoffs, you're able to make those adjustments from game to game because you're getting to know your foe on a level you don't get to know them during the regular season. When you're going from team to team, you might see a guy once, and it's like you'll know, hey, if this player X only goes right, I got to push him to my left. You might know that in your head, but you might not figure out the way to do it in just one game.
Yeah.
But when you're playing in a series, you're able to see, okay, when he goes right, this player over here does this to draw this guy out this way, or does it, and you can make your small adjustments that way. So that's some of it. And I think exposed is the right term to use, because in the playoffs, we've heard over and over again that championships are not for everybody. You have to really work hard, and the playoffs are a different beast. So you really, this is where your coaching comes in. This is where your scouting comes in, and this is where you can really say, okay, this is what we need to do to get player X to go this way or player Y to go this way. And in Giannis's case, you're right. He does need to develop if he develops a 15-foot jumper, you have to now come out and respect that. He's one dribble and gone. That's something now he's going to have to worry about and expose to elevate his game. One of the things for me, and you and I have talked about this before, is that what makes a player go from good to great, in my opinion, is their evolution. Is how does that player evolve year to year, game to game? What adjustments do they make? We've seen guys that had a lot of potential. A guy like Dwight Howard, he had the build, he had the athletic ability. You're thinking, okay, if this guy just developed a 10-foot jumper and could shoot, 60% from the free throw line, this guy could be, the next great center. And what happened? He never wanted to develop. He's still the same player now he was when he was 19 when he came into the league. That's not a good thing. Ben Simmons, he's another one. He missed his whole first year in the NBA because of an injury. He did not work on his jump shot at all. And look at how much that has hurt him in the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah.
People are backing off him, saying, "Hey, you got the ball and you're down by 3. The ball's in Ben Simmons' hands. I'm backing off."
Yeah.
Because I know he's not going to shoot the 3. He's not going to shoot from 15. And when he was asked in an interview earlier this year, they said, "Hey, how come you haven't developed a jump shot yet?" And his response was, "I've never needed to. I've been so good I didn't need to." Like, whoa, wait a minute, bro.
Wow.
You are in the NBA. You need a jump shot.
Yeah.
You need to have something to be respected. And that's something that, like I said, to me differentiates good from great. Now, this is the first time Giannis is really, like I said, kind of being exposed a little bit. He's going to have to come in the next season, even if he doesn't have a complete 15-foot jumper. But if he backs out 10 feet, 12 feet, and at least shows it, now you have to respect the fact that he's taking it. You don't have to make them. You just have to take them.
Yeah.
If you take them, then you're going to start developing a rhythm. You're going to start developing a shot, and people are going to say, "Oh, I can't stay off of that. I'm going to have to come up." And then you can progress out. That's the one thing I will give Joel Embiid credit for, is you do have to respect his shooting ability. He does have that ability to shoot the 3. I think, I think he does it too much. But you have to at least respect that. And I think that's something that a guy like Giannis, he doesn't have to be threes. I very much, to me, when you start talking about stretch 4s or stretch 5, it doesn't mean 3-point shots. It just means away from the basket.
Yeah.
So if Giannis develops a 15-footer, he becomes a lot deadlier, and it opens up the middle for a lot of other guys. His post game is good, but now we've got to develop a little bit more, and I think he's starting to see that. He strikes me, the difference between Giannis and Ben Simmons, at least so far, is he strikes me as somebody who wants to get better. He strikes me as somebody who wants to improve and and feels like he has a lot to improve. That's the feeling I get from Giannis. I didn't get that from Ben Simmons. So I think Giannis.
That's what happens when what happens when you got a Kardashian. They'll mess your shit all up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I absolutely believe that. I'm very much looking forward. Now, the playoffs are still going on, and the playoffs have been great so far. I've enjoyed them immensely. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how Giannis comes back, whether they win or lose this year, how he comes back next year. Because I think for the first time he's actually kind of struggled a little bit, and people are saying, okay, this might be how you can stop him a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think Giannis has always struck me as somebody who's confident, who's smart, and is willing to put in the work. So I'm not as concerned about Giannis's development as I am as maybe a Ben Simmons.
They have 2. Somebody's got to win 2 of the next 3. I had the Raptors at 7. I had your very good friend Tom Perkins on last week before the series started, and I took Raptors in 7 because I just believe they have the best player. They have the better of the 2 between Giannis and Kawhi. Who wins the next 2 out of 3? Who wins the series?
I'm going to say Milwaukee, and the reason why I picked Milwaukee is I think their depth is better. I like the fact that. What's that?
At least at home it is.
At least at home, very much so. And the thing is, Toronto has to win 1 game at home. Kawhi Leonard is absolutely the best player in this series. He's the best all-around player in this series. There's no doubt about it in my mind. The problem is he doesn't have anybody else that he can really depend on. You're not going to sell me on Kyle Lowry because we've seen the Kyle Lowry story before where he's disappeared in playoffs. He did it when DeMar DeRozan was there. He's done it his whole career. Until he can show me some kind of consistency, I'm not relying on him. You got Pascal, who's playing pretty well, but first season rookie going through it, you could almost make the argument that the guy that has the second most playoff experience on that team is Serge Ibaka, which says a lot. Marc Gasol is okay, but he's not the Marc Gasol that we all knew back in Memphis a few years ago.
Yeah.
So my question is, when it comes to the depth that Toronto has outside of Kawhi, who's playing outside of his mind right now, I don't know that they have the depth to compete over a 7-game series. Now, that being said, would I be surprised if the way that this series has gone, if Toronto won this series? I would not be surprised in the least because Toronto's played overall has played very well. And like I said, Kawhi's playing out of his head right now. But I think Milwaukee is the deeper of the 2 teams. They are definitely the longer of the 2 teams. And I do like their shooting a little bit more.
Shift gears to the local team here. We know your affiliation, so, you tread however you feel like you have to tread, but I have to ask the question. Magic walks away, doesn't tell Jeannie, doesn't tell LeBron. A lot of people think he quit. Then he goes on First Take, throws Rob Pelinka under the bus, then shows up back on Spectrum with Jeannie Buss, and it's almost like he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. I honestly don't really care either way. I said this was going to be a shit show when LeBron got here. It's been nothing but a shit show. It was a shit show before. Adding LeBron to it only makes it worse. You don't want to give Ty Lue the contract and give Ty Lue the deal because it makes it look like LeBron's got all the power choosing his coach again. So you hire Frank Vogel, but then you assist and force Jason Kidd on the staff. And Jason Kidd and LeBron have a good relationship. And people think Frank Vogel is over or under 82 games, that he's going to be there as a coach. During the press conferences, the day Magic decides to go on TV and throw Rob Pelinka under the bus. And then you have LeBron show up to the press conference, shooting layups and just in the background, watching everything, but not saying anything, not speaking, not being, in my opinion, a leader and saying, listen, this is our guy. I'm endorsing it, man. Let's get this going. We're going to change things here. But just kind of staying silent, which some people I heard say, oh, that was smart of him. I was like, well, no, it wasn't because it shows poor leadership. He's supposed to speak up and be out front for it because Vogel knows he's a dead man walking. From the time Magic had that press conference until today, just what are your thoughts? And Kurt Rambis' wife, Jeannie Buss, the ESPN reports somebody says to trade him, and then it comes out that it came from someone at her damn spin class. It wasn't even a credible source. It's a mess right now. And then you still have the number 4 pick, and they still probably might be trying to use that. You have the floor on your hometown LA Lakers.
Let me preface this by saying this. Growing up, Magic Johnson was my favorite player. I started playing basketball because of Magic Johnson, because of the Showtime Lakers in '88. But what you just said as far as what it is nothing short of 100% accurate. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion is this. You're right. Magic seems to be talking one way, when he's on one interview saying one thing and saying something else when he's talking to somebody else right now. once he resigned, you started to hear the rumors that of who he was talking about when and whatnot. These were already coming out within a couple of days of his resignation. And then you started to hear, well, it was a combination of this person and that person, that he didn't talk to this person or that person. But he made it worse to me by coming out, and not by naming names. I have no problem with him naming names. I've always been somebody, if you're going to say it, put your name to it. If you're going to say it publicly, put your name to it. Otherwise, just be quiet.
Yeah.
That's always been my opinion. But the way he made it worse was after he had said all of this stuff, even after he resigned, he says, but if they call me, I will absolutely help recruit. Well, which is it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be in and you want to help this team, or do you want to continue to throw cans on the fire because all you're doing is throwing cans on the fire? The rumors of everything, and you've heard them, I'm sure, of that he wasn't there day to day. That
and Rob Pelinka would walk in and sarcastically say, "Hey, no Magic today,
right?
Huh? Where's Magic today?"
Right. And the thing being is, according to all the reports, when he accepted the job from Jeannie, he told her he wasn't going to be in every day. He told her that he wasn't going to be that guy that was there day to day, all this stuff. So the questions become, if this was already known going in, why was it a problem? Why was she allowing this to become a problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've talked before about blame and this and that. To me, I think everybody's got a lot of blame to go around in this whole thing. But to me, this lies at the foot of Jeannie. Because yes, for me.
Okay.
Because, and here's why. Because you are the head of the organization. You are the head of the franchise. You have to take control. If it starts to get out of control, you have to be the one that say, okay, enough. You've got to be the parent and say, okay, you shut up, you shut up, you shut up. I'm talking now.
Yeah.
I am going to be the one to take control. And that's not happening. You're hearing reports of, this person is in their ear, this person is in her ear, this person is... Look, at one point you say, okay, enough's enough, and make the decision. What this feels like to me, DJ, and let me be, this is hard for me to say, but this feels to me like what happened with the Dodgers under Frank McCourt.
Oh, wow. Good comparison. You're right.
That's what this feels like to me. When Frank McCourt was still owning the Dodgers, a year before all the issues started, there was a report right after Joe Torre left where Joe Torre supposedly said, hey, if you think it's bad now, wait until a year from now. And you were kind of like, what is he talking about? And then about a year later, everything came out about the scandal with his wife cheating on him having no money, and then eventually within a year of it, Major League Baseball took control of the team, forced him to sell, and he was out. So that's what this kind of feels like to me. Now, I'm not saying that Jeannie should sell the team. I'm not saying anything like that. But the amount of dysfunction that
does she have? Should she? Let me ask you, for the Lakers to get back to promise, do you think that it would have to go that far, that she would have to sell this team for it even to get back to where halfway of what this franchise used to be? She's got to be out.
No, I don't believe that at all. But I do believe that in order for this to be turned around, she needs to take this franchise by the horns and take ownership of it and be the owner of it. Stop with I'm going to listen to my friends, I'm going to listen to this and that. You need to stop and make the decisions. Okay, one of the things that came out with Magic's, interview on First Take was that the whole thing with Luke Walton, how he wanted to let him go.
Yeah.
And that they were supposedly on board.
But they had came out and said that they didn't want to fire Luke Walton at one point during the season.
Right.
Like, which one, once again, which one is it?
Right. But again, he said, okay, after the season, he wanted to do it. Okay, fine. And supposedly, according to the interview that he gave on First Take on Monday, that she signed off on it, and then all of a sudden, you had all these other people in her ear tell her, no, it's not a good idea. And then all of a sudden, now she's backtracking. But he was supposed to be the guy that has final say over basketball. So if your guy, if I'm in charge and I'm supposed to have final say over a department, and I come to you and I say, this is my decision, but then you've got 4 or 5 people telling you no, and now you're questioning my decision, that's a problem. So that's why I'm putting this more on Jeannie than anybody else. Because if you look at what Magic said, he's in charge of basketball decisions. And then all of a sudden he's not. So which is it? So as wishy-washy as he may appear to be right now, if you're listening to the rumors and you're listening to everything that's being reported, she's being just as wishy-washy. And unfortunately, there's nobody to listen to right now except to speculate and the rumors because she's not talking.
What do they do with the 4th pick? If you're the Lakers, what do they try to do? What would you like to see them do? What sounds feasible to you with that 4th pick?
You need shooters. You need shooters. That's evident. You're hearing rumors about, maybe they look to trade it. You're hearing rumors that, you're hearing, I heard today that there's a Bradley Beal rumor out there. I've heard there's a LeBron for Ben Simmons rumor out there that was posted on Twitter a couple of days ago. I've heard they might try to, revisit Anthony Davis, but then the Pelicans supposedly came out and said they're still not interested in doing business with the Lakers. But AD still doesn't want to be there, so they still have their problems there. If I'm making the pick, I'm like you. I like Cam Reddish a lot. I think he could shoot the ball. I think he fits a bill for them at the two guard. He'd be a big 2 guard, but I think he could play the 2 guard there. That's kind of where I would go. If I can't get a guy like Morant, I know there's a lot of rumors and speculation, but I would love a guy like Cam Reddish. You need to shoot the ball. So I'm going to go with the idea that they're going to take somebody, and I would take somebody like a Cam Reddish. I don't see anybody else that's really out there. You hear the rumors about possibly Kyrie. You hear the rumors about possibly this guy or that guy. Look, I'm here to tell you,
as a Laker fan, would you like Kyrie here with everything that you've seen over his career? And I don't have a problem with Uncle Drew, but I mean, he's shown that there was a perfect opportunity for him in Boston, and they blew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they absolutely blew it.
They blew it. They get their asses handed to them. They blew it. Would you want Kyrie in the Laker uniform? Back with LeBron again?
Excuse me. No. And it's not because I don't like Kyrie. Okay, I like Kyrie. I like Kyrie a lot. But there's 2 issues with Kyrie that's for the reason why I would not switch him and Lonzo Ball if I'm the Lakers. And that's because, one, Kyrie doesn't play defense. Let's be real.
And Lonzo is a great defender.
He's a very good on-the-ball defender, plays very good weak-side defense, and he's able to get there. The problem with Lonzo is he's barely played over 80-something games, maybe 90 games in his 2 years. He's got to stay healthy. But see, that also brings me back to the problem number 2 with Kyrie. He can't stay healthy. So what would you really be gaining? Yes, you'd be gaining an aggressive point guard who can score, but but plays no defense, and you're giving up arguably your best on the ball defender that you have on the team. In that spot, I don't know if you want to do that. I think the Lakers have their problem isn't scoring. They have guys who can put the ball in the hoop. Their problem is defense, and that nobody wants to play it. So you got to get people on board who want to play defense, and that's where Kyrie does not fit in. That's where I do like the Frank Vogel hire. Now, a lot of people I apologize for the noise. I'm opening up my garage.
No, that's fine. I know we only got a few more minutes, but I knew you had to go in too.
Yeah, no worries. That's where I like the Frank Vogel hire. A lot of people do not. I do, and I like it for this reason. Because his teams play defense.
Under 82 games, Frank Vogel is the head coach of the Lakers.
Gosh. I'm going to say...
Now, you feel while I asked you that, right? Because you're like, okay, I like the hire. But it don't matter whether people like it or not. He's out of here in a year.
Yeah, I agree with that unless they make it a run of the conference finals. I think if they make a run of the conference finals, I think he has a chance of staying. Okay.
They got to get a big-time free agent, Luis. Listen, they're not getting anybody to suck. Who's going to come play with this? In the front office, in the business part? Who? Like, what guy? Okay, Bradley Beal? Okay, and what's that going to do?
I don't think they're going to get anybody. Okay, let me just put that. I don't think a free agent's coming, and I would not make the trade for Bradley Beal. As good as Bradley Beal can be, okay, my issue with Bradley Beal is he's still on the books for another 2 years at $27.5 million. So there goes all your cap space that you've been talking about. If your goal is still Anthony Davis, I still don't think you're getting him in a trade this year. You're going to have to wait till the year after. You bring in Bradley Beal, you have no more cap space. So unless you're going to make some deals with some of the younger guys who have contracts coming up, like Brandon Ingram, you're going to have to make a decision on Alonzo Ball. You're going to have to make a decision on Kyle Kuzma and Josh Hart. I wouldn't make that deal. These kids, look, here's something that people kind of forget, and people that I kind of want to remind people about this team. As bad as everything looks right now, and it looks bad, okay, this is still a team, VJ, that won only 17 games just 3 years ago. Then they won 27. Then they won 35. Even in a down year where completely everything went wrong, they still won 37 games. They still improved by 2 games.
Uh-huh.
So they have people who can play. They just have to find a way to play together. And I don't think...
LeBron has to stop alienating the whole damn team.
Oh, absolutely.
That killed Listen, I'll admit, when they were in the 4th seed, it's like, okay, all right, LeBron, all right, Lakers, I see y'all. And I wasn't like, oh, the losing streak's coming. I was like, nah, man, they look like they can get about 45, 50 wins. Shit,
right.
And let's see who they go up against in the playoffs. Let's see what they do. But when you alienate the team the way it killed the season. He single-handedly himself, not Luke Walton, not Genie, not Magic, none of them. Him wanting to basically putting it out there. I want to play with Anthony Davis. Get me AD.
Right.
Get me every TV show talking about it. Every radio show talking about, I want AD. Get me AD. Get me. I don't care what nobody say, man. You can sit and go, oh, players got to be tougher than that. And, man, I'm a human being. At the end of the day, too,
right.
I'm going to be like, oh, word, you don't want me? Okay, so you think I'm going to play for you? Really quick. You see how well George Hill's playing in the playoffs? You see how well Rodney Hood played in the playoffs? And I hear the commentators doing both those games for both those guys in the playoffs go, I bet you LeBron James is probably thinking, where was that? You know where that was? It was in them players. But when you are that guy, when you are LeBron and you alienate people, everybody has to want to play hard for you. They have to want to play hard. Coach and superstar. They have to want to play. It clearly showed me Rodney Hood and George Hill did not feel like playing hard for LeBron. And there's got to be reasons for that.
Absolutely. Look, BJ, you and I have talked about it many times. And you know me well enough to know I'm not a LeBron fan. Okay? You know that. I know that. The thing being is, we've said for years, who's really come to play with LeBron? And the answer is nobody.
Nope.
People have to really understand that. When you talk about what happened in Miami, it wasn't people calling to play with LeBron. It was LeBron and Bosh going to play with Dwayne Wade, and that wasn't even the first choice. Bleacher Report had an article a couple years ago that revealed that the first choice was for LeBron and Dwayne Wade to go to Chicago and team up with Derrick Rose.
They were going to try to go to Chicago.
Right. And when Derrick Rose got hurt, they decided, okay, no, we'll go to Miami and we'll bring Chris Bosh along. So that wasn't even the first choice. So people have to understand that. So that's the first thing. No one has ever come to play with LeBron. Let's just be clear about that. Yep. And I don't think necessarily that's changing this summer. I don't. Unless it's a trade that I don't see coming right now, I don't see anybody coming right now. But if AD truly wants to come, he's going to have to wait till next year. And I'm going to say the same thing about AD that I said about Paul George last year. If they truly want to be a Laker, they have their chance to be a Laker. They just have to do it.
Yeah, you did say that about PG when people were like, "What happened?" It's like, dude, if he wanted to be a Laker, he had every opportunity to be a Laker. He didn't want to. He didn't want to come to this.
No, he got partly got all up in his feelings, like we like to say, because the Lakers didn't pull the trigger on him. Let's not forget that, about that article. I sent you the article that supposedly his agent told the Lakers not to trade D'Angelo Russell or Julius Randle. They traded D'Angelo Russell pretty quickly after that, and Julius Randle had issues with Luke Walton. So you had that dynamic, and then it was they didn't want to give up the number 2 pick, which I believe I'm trying to remember. I think it became Lonzo Ball. So they basically didn't want to trade up Lonzo Ball for Paul George, and that's part of why the trade never happened. On top of the fact Indiana didn't want to do business with the Lakers because that's where Paul George wanted to go. So now if you take New Orleans and they're doing the same thing where, hey, they might give you an attractive offer, we still don't want to do business with you, that's on them. That's fine. Okay, but if AD truly wants to be a Laker, he'll have his opportunity to be a Laker next year. So the question will be, is that really what he wants to be? And that's the decision he's going to have to make. Nobody else is going to make it for him. If he truly wants to be a Laker, if that's in his heart, then he'll be one. He just might not be on the timeline that he wants. And that's just the way I view it is like this, VJ. If you want total control of your career, sign 1-year deals. Sign 1-year deals.
Players are too greedy.
Right. I understand about the security. I understand the security. I understand wanting to take care of your family. I understand that. But if you truly want to bet on yourself and go where you want to go year after year, sign 1-year deal. That's why you'll remember this. We talked about when LeBron went to Cleveland.
Yeah.
He kept saying, hey, I want to be in Cleveland forever, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you want to show that? Sign a multi-year deal. He didn't do that. He kept signing 1 + 1, 1 + 1, 1 + 1. You know who else has been doing that? Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. Which I think he's going to do this summer. I don't think Kevin Durant leaves.
I think he does too. I think he's gone.
Not this year. I think he's gone in 2000. I think he's gone in the summer of 2020. I don't think he's gone. I don't think he leaves in July.
I don't know. I really get the sense everything that I'm hearing, and I'm sure you're hearing a lot of it too, is that he's gone. I think Kevin Durant, he may be on the position where he says, you know what? I'm being told that I can only do it here because I couldn't do it in OKC. Let me go do it somewhere else while I still can. And I think that may be something that plays into it. I don't know. I mean, there was a rumor, there was a report that came out today that, the Clippers are apparently a very viable option for him, which we've heard about. Here's the thing about KD. And I heard I think you talked about this with Tom last time, that you hadn't heard anything about KD going up anywhere. I've been hearing this KD to New York thing for a year. The last time I heard something that strong actually the last 2 times, the last 2 times I heard about any free agent going anywhere for over a year was the last time was last year when you told me a year before that LeBron was going to be a Laker.
Yep.
But the other time I heard it this strongly, a year out, was when Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City to go to Golden State. I had been hearing that for a year. So when he went to Golden State, it wasn't a surprise to me. I've been hearing that for a year. And not just from people I know. Media outlets were reporting it. Oh, these are rumors, blah, blah, blah. And then as free agency came, they kind of ramped up a little bit higher. I'm like, you guys reported this a long time ago. So why is this such a surprise now? And those were the last 2 times I heard something this loud. So I'm not. I would like to see KD. Look, I like KD. I like Steph. I like Clay. Golden State's done everything the right way. I have absolutely zero problem with them winning. Now, would I like to see my team win? Of course I would. But Golden State, people don't like them because they're winning. I actually don't have a problem with Golden State. They're fun basketball to watch.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching them.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with them if they keep winning. If KD stays and they keep winning, fine. If KD leaves, I think they're still going to win. They'll be fine. So I don't have a problem with it either way. KD, if he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I've kind of resolved to the fact that I think he's going to go. I just don't know where. New York has been the hotbed for a year. I've heard the Clippers for a while now too, as a possibility. We'll see. You know, let's play devil's advocate. Let's play buying into the rumors real quick. If the rumors are true and, you know, everything, all the speculation is true, and Kyrie ends up with the Knicks and Kawhi ends up with the Clippers, both have the same amount of cap space. If I'm KD, where am I going? Looking at those two franchises, looking at the two rosters, looking at the guys I got coming with me, where am I going? I'm going to the Clippers. I would go to the Clippers.
I find it hard that the Clippers are getting 2 max guys. I just do. I don't care about Bombers' money. I don't care about Jerry West being there. I don't care about Doc Rivers being the coach there. All I still can see is the name Clippers. And it doesn't make you better than Golden State. Denver's going to get better. Utah's going to get better. Houston is still going to end up a 4 or 5 seed, maybe a 3 seed. Portland's going to get back Nurkic, who they lost. Am I saying that right? Nurkic, who they lost to that gruesome injury. He comes back.
Yep.
Like you're not getting 2 people just to say, oh, I want to go to LA. People can be wherever they are and still build their brands and still do all the side work and still have all the women. And still, you could just have a house. Kevin Garnett had a house in Malibu his last 7 years in Minnesota.
Right.
He didn't try to go to LA. He was like, I come out here in the summertime. I come out here in the off season.
Right.
It's the off season. This is where I come. I come to LA.
Right. See, I'm with you. I look at the Clippers and I still see the Clippers.
The Clippers.
Right. But here's where it does get me a little bit. Because all it takes is one guy. Don't forget, like, going back, you and I are historians. When you looked at the Sacramento Kings, for years they were a laughingstock. And then all of a sudden they got one guy who was kind of good to say, okay, I'll take your money. And that was Wayman Tisdale. And then all of a sudden you started to see them put together, you know, they traded for Chris Webber. Then they traded for Stojakovic. Then you had Vlade come. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, they're building something. It only takes one guy to say, okay, yeah, I'll go there. I'll give it a shot. Who knows?
I don't got nobody going there, but I got to maybe getting one guy there. I'm not even sure Kawhi is out of Toronto because I could give you 50 million reasons why, because they have the 50 million more reasons why he could sign there to a Supermax deal. They've already talked about Portland giving Dame a Supermax extension. Like, teams that are locking down their guys, and now these guys can be traded, 2 years from now if they don't like the way things are, make a big fuss about it. But now you have to take over those last 2 or 3 years and still divvy out that 90 to 100, maybe $130 million for that player. Oh my God, when you're telling me the Clippers might be getting 2 max play, when I hear that, I'm just like, bruh, listen, man, LA, listen, let's get honest. LA is not the athlete, it's not the athlete destination anymore. It's just you can do movies anywhere. You can film things anywhere. Like the internet, social media allows people to do things without having to be overpaying for homes and childcare and food and gas in an oversaturated, overrated market economy like Los Angeles. It can
absolutely.
It can be done. Like, look where you live. I'm not going to put your city in. You don't live in Los Angeles. You were smart enough to venture out a little more, up into the hills, up into the valley, and you got a nice place, man. You got a house. You got room. And you drive into LA to work. Like, you don't have to be in Los Angeles. And if that's the thing where people are like, oh, they want to be like this Zion thing, you're an idiot if you don't want to play in New Orleans, you dumbass. You and your stepdad. I'm serious. I'm going to get hard right now. You and your stepdad, dumbass. First of all, that's a black damn town, you idiot. You will be loved there. They will love this shit. Listen, man, okay, the front office didn't do what I guess Anthony Davis wanted to do. They have a new GM. Everybody loves David Griffin. Everybody knows he's a great GM. He's going to make moves. He's going to do things differently. Man, you should be embracing that to the fullest. You'll be the second biggest star in town next to Drew Brees.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, automatically. Absolutely. You're bigger than any other Saint player right now other than Drew Brees. Put up the 4 years, dog. You're not going to go nowhere else right now. You want to go to New York for the first 4 years where the media will rip your ass to shreds?
Oh, absolutely.
I just, oh my God, it's like, you don't want to play. There's a reason why Russell Westbrook signed that extension to stay in OKC. But guess where he's from? LA. Guess where he is all season? LA. He doesn't have to come play here. You can still come here.
Look, I hope the Clippers don't get anybody. Okay? I hope the Clippers don't get anybody. And let me tell you why. And we've talked about parts of this before, too. I'm tired of these fake-ass Clipper fans trying to say, oh, God. Yeah, you're pounding their chest like they've done something. Man, you've never been out of the second round.
Did you see Clipper Darrell at the – well, first of all, I can't front. Y'all protest was one of the lamest damn things I've ever seen in sports. I ain't never – fan-wise, I've never seen nothing so lame. But for Clipper Darrell to even show up to that shit – and the Laker run is over. It's like, bro, you have no championships. You can't get out the second round. Like, you share our arena. You're not even the second team in this town. The Clippers are like the fifth team here. Let's go down the line. This is 100% a Laker town. This is second, in my opinion, a Dodger town. Then you have the diehard Angel fans. If you go out into the Orange County area, or you go into either the Long Beach, the Carson, Torrance area out there, you'll get some Dodger fans out there, but you'll get some Angel fans too. USC football. Even though USC football isn't great right now, this is still a hardcore USC town. This is still a hardcore Raider town, and I'll put the Kings there. I just named 5 damn teams before I got to the Clippers.
Let me put it this way, VJ. The Kings and the Sparks have more championships than the Clippers.
Yeah.
Okay, they've had better success than the damn Clippers. And you mean to tell, look, you mean to tell me that you're so offended by the Lakers and their 16 championship banners, you have to put up banners of your players because you have nothing else to put up in Staples Center. Even Taylor Swift has a banner hanging up at Staples.
Yeah.
You have nothing.
My wife called them oversized selfies.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I don't even think you're that. Yeah. I think right now, outside of Lou Williams, you have to put put the players' names underneath it because I don't think you know who they are.
No, true. Very, very, very true. And I will say this: I don't know if Doc did a great job, because the team was in first place at one point and they fell to 8th. And if it had not been for the Lakers collapse and a few other in Sacramento, the Clippers wouldn't have made the playoffs. They needed Sacramento. They needed Sacramento and the Lakers to fall. Well, if the Sacramento didn't fall apart, the Lakers did. Sacramento just couldn't post up enough wins towards the end of the year to be able to solidify themselves into the playoffs. We could really be looking at this and going, damn, Doc couldn't even get them into the playoffs. And you think they're going to get, you think they're going to get to, they're going to get two max guys. I just don't see two max guys that are going to come play for the Clipper. I would have to see it. I don't think I don't think Durant is leaving, and I'm not so sure. I'm just not so sure that Kawhi is leaving Toronto. They can offer him $50 million more than anybody else.
Absolutely.
That's got to factor in.
Absolutely. Like I said, I hope they don't get anybody. I really do. I'm just tired of everyone trying to say, "Oh, it's a Clipper town." Man, you're not even the second best team in your building. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you this: who do you think today? We talked about it earlier. With the NBA, all NBA teams coming out today, who are the two biggest winners today? I'm gonna tell you who.
Okay.
The biggest winners were Kemba Walker. Why? Because now that he's an all-NBA player, he's now eligible for that Supermax deal from Charlotte. Charlotte now has to make a decision. Are you going to offer him the Supermax deal? You're one star. Or are you going to let him walk? Because if I'm Kemba Walker, that's what I want. I put in my time there. It's time for you to take care of me. That's the first winner today. The other winner, the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards are the other winner because Bradley Beal did not make one of those teams.
He was right on the cusp. I'm looking at it right now.
Yep.
He was on the cusp as far as guards.
Right. But because he didn't make it, he's not eligible for that Supermax extension yet. He's still got 2 years on his contract. Wow. He might be eventually.
Good inside information, Luis. Good stuff.
But now you don't have to offer him the Supermax. So now maybe you could offer him an extension now and say, okay, this is what we're going to offer you. I don't know if he'll be eligible if he makes it next year or not, but now that takes a little bit of pressure off of Washington to say, okay, we got to get rid of him now. So those are to me are two of the big winners today because it completely changes free agency in that regard.
Would it make the Lakers a loser being that they had their eye on Kemba Walker? Because if he could get the that's the best damn thing said on the show today, right there. That's the best damn thing that was said on the show today because now I'm sitting here like, okay, whoa, that's right. So now, if he can get the Supermax there in Charlotte, Jordan's going to cut the check. Jordan's going to offer it. I don't got them not offering. Like, you let Kemba walk and then do what?
Right. Again, if I'm the Lakers, I'm not looking to make any big splashes. I know that sounds crazy right now, but this is a team. Take the injuries out of it for a minute. Before the injuries, they were on their way up. They were starting to play well. Okay? We can talk the injuries. Let me hit you with something about the injuries. Because of injuries, LeBron, Alonzo, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and Rajon Rondo. You know how many games they played together this year?
How many?
20.
Wow.
Less than a quarter, or maybe a quarter of the season, where they played 20 games where they were all together. That's your core. You can't develop any chemistry when you don't have your core players playing. Okay? One of the things, you'll remember this, when the night LeBron James signed, I said, I was excited because I thought he would help elevate them to the playoffs. And they looked like they were on their way. But what did I say was the biggest scare that I had with him was injuries. And we talked about it. We said, no, he's never been injured, but he's 33. He's going to be 34. All it takes is one injury. Kobe wouldn't get hurt till the end of his career.
Yeah. Well, no. Kobe was messed up. He was just tougher than everybody else, man. Kobe played with separated shoulders, dislocated. I mean, Kobe's body. Right. That's why he's done. Kobe's like, my body, like, I'm done, bro. Like, I'm done.
Right. And that, to me, was the difference. So people don't want to, I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to say injuries were the only reason this team fell apart, because it's not. But when you look at that stat, and you realize your core was only together for 20 games, that's a big problem. The other thing that the Lakers have to look at here in free agency, they have no bigs. They have no bigs. You have one center on the roster, and that's Mo Wagner, who's going into his second year. That's it. So if I'm the Lakers, I got to look. That's where I got to look. I got to create some depth. I got to get healthy. And I got to really see where this team's going to go. I think this team is still a good team. Look, if I were to tell you, VJ, I'm giving you the keys to a franchise that has improved in wins each of the last 3 years, has a ton of cap space for at least one max player, has a lot of youth, and has the number 4 pick. If I just handed you that, you're going to look at that and say, that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
Now you take taking the drama out of it. So that's why I'm saying if the Laker front office gets their stuff together, they can go forward very well. But to me, this relies heavily on the front office. Heavily on the front office. You need to create some depth. You need to create some athleticism. And you need to be able to really sit there and say, okay, what do you have? And until they do that, I don't think they know which direction they want to go. We can talk about the free agents and everyone's being linked here and there. One of the questions I have, let's say you get a Kemba Walker. How does he fit in? You put Lonzo back on the bench? Or is Kemba going to be your 2 guard? Is he big enough to be a 2 guard?
Yo, I think Lonzo is gone. Whatever deal they're going to try to strike. Number one, I don't think the Lakers are going to use that pick. You can't use that pick. Like, honestly, you can't. This is what happens when you bring on an older LeBron. These are the things that are going to happen. You can't even now build. You're trying to win now, but you don't have win. Like, no one's beating. I think the silliest thing for any team in the West to do right now is to think you can win now. You're not winning right now. The Warriors got this shit on lock. And if they lose Kevin Durant, guess what? Now that just makes sure they're going to be together because that gives them the supermax money for Clay. That gives them the supermax money for Draymond. If Durant leaves. So then they're going to plug. Look at these young guys, man. Look at these young guys. Remember 2-3 weeks ago, all the experts on TV, Warriors have no bench. They have 0.
Oh, yeah.
No, they do. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But why are you playing them when you got Kevin Durant and Steph going for 41 and 35? You don't need, but when they need it and they're called on, so now you see this so-called bench that they didn't have, and you still got Boogie. Like if Durant leaves, you still have a team. If you're in the Western Conference, the smartest thing to do right now, build your team. Add to it, like Portland. You know what Portland needs? Portland needs a backup guard. They need backup guards that can score. Because when Dame and McCullough go off the floor, they don't have guards that can score. Ronnie Hood, but Ronnie Hood's more of a 2-3. They don't have a solid point in the shooting guard that can come in and give you buckets. They need that. They should be looking at a guy like Patrick Beverly in free agency. Build your team. I don't understand this win. Now, nobody in the West. Now, in the East, if you think you can make a move to get to the finals now, like i.e. Toronto with Kawhi, you do it now.
Right.
You do it now. If you're who else is good out? If you're Philly, okay, and you think that moving Ben Simmons will get you another player or 2 players that could get you to the finals next year, you move Ben Simmons now. You don't even think about it. You move him now. In the East, you can do that. But in the West, this win now, and I just think that was the mistake of the Lakers. We heard Magic saying, we want to win now. But you don't have a win now team. And then you allow LeBron to call out a player he wanted, and the guy that has his best friend is his agent. Like, the whole thing was dirty and messy. The whole thing was a damn dumpster fire. And now look at the franchise. So I think Ingram, and now hold on, we haven't even talked. Ingram's got the medical condition.
Yes, sir. You can't trade him right now.
You can't trade Ingram. Nobody's going to trade for him.
Nope. But not only that.
Oh, hold on. Hey, real quick. And you got Josh Hart talking shit, which I love. Where the hell did that come from? Since when does Josh Hart get the props to run his mouth? But he's doing it.
No, let me tell you something. He's always done it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but now he's taking the tongue-in-cheek out of it.
Oh, okay. Josh Hart, I'm like, whoa, where the hell is this coming from?
Oh, yeah, no. He if you go back and you look at through his Instagram and his Twitter, he's been busting guys' balls left and right since he got here.
Oh.
Now he's just kind of taking the fun out of it right now and putting it out there. So I like this Laker team. You'll remember, VJ, we talked a year ago on this show, and we said, what were the two teams we thought could really elevate and be the next team that once the Warriors' run was done? One was Sacramento, two was the Lakers. Those were the two teams we both named.
Yeah.
For me, that hasn't changed, except the Lakers front office just doesn't seem to know what they're doing. They're not cohesive right now. And until you get some kind of cohesion in the front office, it doesn't matter who you try to bring in. It doesn't. Because when you have that dysfunction, and that's not just for the Lakers, this goes for any organization. If you're dysfunctional at the top, it doesn't matter who you have there. It's not going to work. Because they're going to see you messing around.
Of course.
They're going to see, and then it's just going to trickle down. So to me, the key to this offseason for the Lakers is not who you get, is not who you draft, is not what you do with the pick. It's can you get your front office in order? If you can get your front office in order, then we can focus on everything else. Then we can go ahead and say, okay. Yep. As much as I have not been a fan of Rob Pelinka, I'm going to say this. During that press conference on Monday, I felt he handled himself, at least publicly, with class, and as upfront as he could be, and as direct as he could be at that moment. Now, that moment should have happened 2 weeks ago. Okay? I'm not even mad that they didn't get Tyronn Lue. To me, I wanted Monty Williams. And to me, the second guy would have been Frank Vogel. Those were the two guys I wanted. I never wanted Tyronn Lue. But I felt Rob Pelinka was the one guy, whether you believe him or not, at least publicly came out looking somewhat decent. Not great, but somewhat decent. The Lakers front office has to find a way to build on that.
I feel you, bro. Tell everybody where they can find you, man. We gotta wrap up.
Okay, well, you can find me at Lewis's Sports House on Facebook, at LESTRADAJR on Twitter. And I'll tell you what, VJ, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow morning because there's some things I can tell you off the air that will blow you.
Okay, yeah, definitely, bro. You know me, man. I'll make sure I know your attachment. I know what you got, so that's why I know you got to tread lightly. And even when I had Tom on last week talking about the draft lottery, he works with the league. So, there's just – and I respect people's professional side. Too, I just love to bring on great guests. You've always been a great guest on the show, so I just love bringing on great guests that can bring a different perspective, to the show. But trust me, man, I definitely, please, yes, call me. I want all the juice.
Oh yeah. No, I'll be calling you tomorrow morning on my way to work, and we'll talk a little bit. But I will tell you this: something's coming up on the Sports House. I'm kind of revamping the Sports House a little bit.
Okay.
Over at the Sports House, we talk sports, we talk wrestling. Well, we're going to start expanding on that. We're going to do some interview-style stuff with ourselves, where I might be interviewing you or other guests, kind of giving your stories and backgrounds a little bit. I'm also going to be expanding it to some movies. You're big on movies. You're big on all that stuff. So we're going to be talking, I'm going to be doing a DC versus Marvel. I'm going to be doing a Marvel show, a DC show, a summer blockbuster show, all that kind of stuff. We're going to start talking about some music as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to be expanding it to more than just sports. We're going to have some other people coming on. Dude, we're going to have some fun.
And I'm down, man. I'll make sure I watch all the films and, just count me in, brother. I'm in.
Okay, brother. You got it, man.
Appreciate you, man. My man Louis Estrada, Luis the Sports House, Spectrum Sports. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Much love, man. We'll
God
talk
bless.
soon.
My man. Good stuff there, man. I like the letter. I love Luis. I love having him on the show. Great guy, great human being, great man, great husband, great father, and he is a great sports. He is a great sports aficionado. That guy really, really knows his stuff. And big Laker fan, and like I said, he works for the network out here, so he has to tread lightly on what he said. But you know, we can still bring you guys great. We can still bring you guys great content from him and great opinions from him. But I have no idea what's going on with the Lakers. I really don't. I honestly do feel that the Clippers are not getting two max guys. I don't see it. I won't believe it unless I see it happen. They're still just the Clippers to me. They're always going to be the Clippers. And you got to show me a little more than what they have, in all honesty. You got to show me more than what they've done and what they had to get me to believe that somebody was going to say, you know what, I'm going to go save this franchise. There's nothing there for you to save. They don't have any championship. You're not saving it. Saving it means it was great and then it's gone down and now you want to bring it back and save it. The franchise has been down. Excuse me, and been oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Been dormant forever. They can't get out of the second round. They've had superstars. They've had all-stars. They've had a whole bunch of people there that they just couldn't get the job done. And I don't care about Ballmer's money. I don't care about Doc Rivers as the head coach. You know, they having all this cap move. You cannot get me to believe they're getting two max players this season, this off season. It's not happening. There are too many other attractions, destinations that are more attractive, have other players. Yeah, you can say the Clippers are in there big for Kevin Durant, but you're telling me Kawhi's going to want to go play with Kevin Durant? And I got Kawhi staying in Toronto anyway because they got $50 million more reasons why he should stay there. I just don't see a player turning down $50 million. I could be wrong. Kawhi could be a different guy, different thinking. Okay, but I don't see it, so I'm going to stick with that. Take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up the show. I'll bring in my man Jason Headley with the Rock and Wrap Up, man. I love this stuff, man. So do you guys.
It's the Hollywood Rock and Wrap Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Disability rights activists are praising Game of Thrones for helping break down barriers for talent with disabilities. Peter Dinklage representing dwarfism, Isaac Hempstead Wright was in a wheelchair, and based on the lackluster series finale, let's not forget the writing staff's various and clearly noticeable mental impairments. Cardi B was forced to cancel a huge show in Miami due to complications from recent plastic surgery. The rapper will be returning as Cardi Double D. Sister Wives' polygamist husband Cody Brown will be divorcing 3 of his wives. Sounds like a great idea for a reality competition show, only the twist is that the actual winners are the ones who were eliminated. British pop star Morrissey turns 60 today. Fans of his often melancholy musical style are wishing him an unhappy birthday. And that's the Hollywood Rock and Wrap Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rock and Wrap Up.
My man Jason Hadley, I tell you, that shit's funny. She's coming back as Cardi Double D. Cardi B had to cancel a show because of some plastic surgery. She getting some bigger breasts. She already got breasts. She getting bigger breasts? Like she wants them bigger? I tell you, boy, they make a female. Anyway, that's for another show. I ain't even gonna go there. Anyway, great show today. I want to thank my guests, and I appreciate my man Luis Estrada for coming on. Make sure you guys jump over to blogtalkradio.com and check him out. Variety show he has over there on Luis Sports House. He said he's going to change at movie reviews, at interviews, things of that expanded. We are also expanding here at VJs on Sports for Light Conduct. I am trying to take the show on the road and do a more of a comedy sports talk show where we have one comedian, we have one sports talk personality person, or athlete, or whoever to sit there and talk sports and go back and forth and do something that has never been done before. People, I get motivated and I get drive in me when I see other people doing great things. I see motivators and other actors and other celebrities and people empowerment, putting things out there, man, to empower people to do better in life, man, and be great. So that's what I want to do. So I want to expand what I got going on, and I want to bring you guys something different. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I'm completely off of Facebook now, so you guys have to find me over on Twitter. Help me get my followers up. I got about 500 over there real fast. I need to get them up as fast as possible, guys. I want people to know that I'm here to entertain you guys, give you guys some of the best sports talk that you're going to hear on radio, on the internet. And we are now international. I've reached 15 countries, 26 states. So thank you to all my listeners out there for that. Get at me at Vesn Sports, VESN Sports at Twitter. Also on my Instagram, the Big Vanilla Funny, spells like it sounds. Also on my IG TV, my Instagram TV. You guys go over there and check my channel out, the Big Vanilla Funny. I got a video I'll put up there today, and then some other comedic stuff coming from Husky Films. Be on the lookout for This Is America, my feature film. Be on the lookout for the web series Vanilla Thugs. Be on the lookout for the other web series Vanilla Valley Patrol. And I listen, man, I'm just creating over here. I'm doing big things. I got big things happening in my life. New additions coming, hint, hint, and things of that nature. So, all right, man, that's it for today's show. I appreciate you guys. I'll let you guys either later this week or next week. I will take the Bucks tonight. And I think that Toronto wins Game 6, and then they come back and they pull off the Game 7 win on the road, and I'll take them in 7. And we'll talk by the time we come back on the air, hopefully next week, it'll be the NBA Finals will be set. We'll get into the finals. We'll talk a little baseball, talk a little free agency and NBA draft days coming up. And I'll put this out there, Cam Reddish. In my opinion, Cam Reddish is going to be the guy that comes off that Duke team that's going to have a better career than RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson. I think those two guys are limited. And when I watch Cam Reddish, very Tracy McGrady-ish, with that type of smoothness, with that type of pull-up game, with that type of explosiveness to the hoop. I really, really, really like Cam Reddish. I hope he slips to the Pistons, or the Pistons make a move to go up there and get him. So, a lot of free agent moves to come, guys. There's so much to dissect. We got plenty of time to talk about. We'll get into it, man. Y'all stay good today, man. God bless. I'll holler at y'all. VJs on Sports Like Conduct, Spreaker.com. Don't forget to catch us on iHeartRadio podcast and also. Peace.